Recently, I picked up one of my favorite fountain pens that has been on my wish list for years. Hey everyone, my name is Serica and I love stationery. I'm going to be unboxing my new fountain pen and then journaling with it. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and let's get into it. This is the KawecoBRASS fountain pen. It comes in its very own collector's tin, and it's from a very well-known German fountain pen brand called Kaweco. They've been around since 1883, and I have several of their plastic body fountain pens that range from about $20 to $30. This is one of the more expensive fountain pens that I have now, but I picked it up at quite the discount on Amazon, so I will leave that linked below. It was about 35% off, and the price is fluctuating a little bit here and there, but I think this is such a great deal for the pen. I own a few brass things such as the Traveler's Company brass clip and some brass charms, but this is my very first brass fountain pen and I am so excited about it. These pens come in 5 different nib sizes and I picked up extra fine because my handwriting is very small, and although I do like larger nibs for making headers, I want to use this as more of an everyday writing kind of thing, so I picked up extra fine like all my other Kaweco fountain pens. Inside of the pen is a little blue cartridge, and I'm going to actually ink it up using another Kaweco cartridge, so I'm going to save this one for later. As you can see here, I have one that's already empty, and I don't really use their piston converter because it's a much smaller ink capacity. So over here I have a blunt syringe, and I use the blunt syringe to fill it up with the ink of my choice. I'm going with the platinum carbon ink. I just want this to be an everyday pen, so black it is. I'm using black because I have a lot of other colorful inks in my fountain pens, so I'm gonna go with black. I think this is a very underrated ink. It's waterproof, it's archival, and honestly, it works pretty well. I think in certain fountain pens it might perform a little dry, but so far I have not had an issue with it. Usually I do this step on my kitchen counter, but because I'm filming, I'm risking it all and I'm doing it on my desk. So after I fill up my emptied out cartridge, I put it in and it works just fine. So no need to buy a converter unless you like the convenience of not using a syringe. But I personally enjoy that this is slightly bigger capacity than the converter, so that is what I do. In my excitement to unbox and use it, I forgot to wash the pen, and this is something that is recommended before you use your pen for the first time, to give it a rinse and get rid of any manufacturer's grease or oil that might be in there, or any test ink that the manufacturer might use. And yeah, I think that's why there's a little bit of nib creep on my nib, which is when the ink pools on the top of the nib. This is actually normal, but I do think the performance could be a little better on my next washing of the pen. Because this ink is waterproof, I do make a point to wash it at least every 4 weeks or so, even sooner, which isn't a problem because the capacity of these tiny little fountain pens is not very large, so I end up washing it about every month or so anyways. The brass is so lovely, and it just goes with so many of the other accessories that I have in my stationery collection, so I'm very pleased with it. The thing about brass is that the more you use it, the more it develops a patina, and it becomes as unique as the person who is writing with it. So I'm excited to see how it's going to change over time. Now that I have my new pen all inked up and ready to go, I am gonna start journaling with it for the very first time, and this is a very exciting experience. I took a quick peek at what I'd written the days before, and as you can see, I haven't been doing a lot of decorating or adding photos, so I did print out a few pictures from my phone, one of the pen, because I wanted to kind of write about that experience since this is such a huge thing for me. And then I printed out some food pics and stationery hauls that I got, and also a few pictures of running the business, packing orders, and work. So that's really what I am going to be journaling about today. It's always easier for me to start journaling when I have some photographs to jumpstart my memory. As a visual person, I like to have a few visual reminders of what's been going on at this point in my life. I have a tutorial on how I do these photo stickers. That one was a pretty popular video a few months back, so definitely check that out if you have questions about my photo process. And I like to stick them down first before I start writing. That kind of just makes more sense to me to have those already laid out, and then I can just write around them. Next, I'm going to decorate with a few of these stickers, and I've already selected the sheets that I thought I might want to use today. Of course, I had to use the fountain pen sheet because this is the very first pen from the sheet that I actually have. So I stuck that down, and then these tweezers come in real handy when you have tiny stickers like this. Yeah, I got a few questions about them, and these are actually watchmaker tweezers. The specific set that I got is no longer available on Amazon, but if you just Google watchmaker tweezers, they're made of brass. As you can see, this whole theme of the video is brass. Brass because it's like anti-magnetic, and you need that for watch parts, I guess. I'm not a watch expert. I have never opened a watch in my life, but that is what they're for. I just really wanted brass tweezers. So that is the story behind those, and I use them all the time to stick on washi tape, to stick on tiny stickers, and they're just so useful. I also use them for nail stickers. The stickers I have on my nails, yep, I use the brass tweezers for those as well. They just come in really handy. I'm putting down a bunch of fall stickers because we are in the middle of October. That means we're celebrating autumn, we're fully leaning into it, and we're doing all the fall things. Halloween is coming up really soon. Honestly, I'm shocked at how it caught us by surprise. We still have to come up with some last-minute Halloween costumes and get something to hand out to trick-or-treaters, because in our neighborhood, it is a big deal. Like, we can see hundreds of kids on Halloween night, so I'm a little unprepared, but you know, we still have like a week and a half, so I'm pretty excited about that, and we'll get it done, you know? Our kids are at an age where they can remember these things. They're creating core memories, and so it's very important to us. We're very much still in the non-spooky Halloween phase, which is a huge relief, honestly, because I am not a spooky person. I don't like horror as a genre. I will watch a little bit of like silly, scary stuff, like The Addams Family. I really enjoy that. Wednesday, that was a little scary, but I liked it. And then currently we're watching Agatha All Along, which is very silly. But yeah, anyways, I'm just finishing up the decorating portion of the journaling session. This part is really fast, I think, compared to the writing portion that always takes much longer time. And I'm just cleaning up here and there, you know, putting my stuff together because it kind of can get messy. But before I begin writing with the new KawecoBRASS pen, I'm using one of my other Kawecos that has Autumn and Auburn ink by Ferris Wheel Press. I love that ink. And I've been really into just writing a few captions around my photos sometimes. I think it adds a nice touch. and then I got right to it. So I switched over to the brass pen, and it did take a while for me to get used to the heavier weight. It is about 1 whole ounce heavier than the plastic ones. So the plastic ones come in at about ½ an ounce or less, and then this one is 1.5 ounce for the brass pen. After writing all of the calendars from my last video and then writing this whole page and doing some tests with it, I did get used to it, and it does feel very pleasant. As for the actual content of my writing, this is a journal that I specifically only write positive events in. I think that there are many types of journaling, and for me, I really have to compartmentalize. I cannot have my darkness and my light be in the same book, because I like to cleanse my recordings of the dark things by like either getting rid of them, burning them, destroying those journals in some way. I don't like to carry that darkness with me through time, you know? But I don't want to get rid of all the happy memories as well. So significant events such as recording my children's milestones, and for example, this new pen that I wanted to record my experience and my feelings with it, those are all positive things, and that is why I make this journal look almost like magazine layout. And I think people sometimes get triggered by that when they see it on the internet. They think that journaling has to be a certain type of way. It has to be more of a stream of consciousness or release of emotion. And I think they just haven't opened up their mind to the fact that there can be other kinds of journaling where it's not for venting, which I totally get. I have a therapy journal where I am not worried about aesthetics and stuff. Also, just a side note, I don't think that is even the only thing that works for me. It's not powerful enough for me as a tool to release all of the dark energy that I have in me. I need to release it through movement, screaming, rage rooms. I mean, I've never been to a rage room, but I really want to go. Anyways, let me get back to the actual point that I was trying to make. Honestly, I just think people need to do whatever the F they want to do with their journals. Like, it doesn't matter. If you want to make it super curated and super nice, then do that. If you want to just do cursive, do that. If you want to just write on a scrap piece of paper because it's a fleeting, elusive, transient moment in time, and then you want to get rid of it, you want to throw it in the recycling bin, you want to rip it up into a million pieces, do that. That is valid. That is legit. It's whatever you want to do. There are no rules. By the way, I do that all the time. You know, that thing where you write something out on a piece of paper and you just want to get it out. Like any unfiltered thought, any uninhibited emotion, just write it out. It could be an impulsive thought. It could be an intrusive thought. Write it out and get rid of it. It's very cleansing, but it's not something that I want in my history book. This is kind of like a history book to me. I'm the historian of my life, and I don't want that sort of thing because it's not indicative of me as a person. It's just a moment of darkness, a moment of weakness, and I don't want that. And I get if some people want to record it all. That's totally fine too. Remember, no rules. But for me, this is how I want to do things. Yeah, so that's just something I've been thinking about. You know, different types of journaling, getting some weird comments and messages about how neatly I journal, whatever. And I'm not even trying to defend myself or over explain, so I kind of want to just move on. I don't even know if my thoughts about that were really well processed at all. I honestly tend to just delete those comments. If the tone is super rude, I just ignore or block or delete. And I just wanted to kind of talk through my thought process about that in this video because I think it's interesting and at the very least something to talk about in this video because I didn't know what else to talk about. Anyways, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that I need journaling in my life, and specifically this type of journaling where I'm very mindful and I am intentional with the way that I write. It's very slow, it's neat, and there's a mind-body connection going on where I have to really concentrate to make it look a certain way. because you've probably surmised that contrary to the chill vibes that I try to curate on this channel, I'm actually not a chill person. I have no chill, and this makes me more of a chill person. I am someone who is trying to find more peace in my life despite not having it in my head, and so doing this allows me a momentary break from all the chaos going on within. So yeah, that is why I journal the way I do. This is my hobby that is really important to me. It fills my cup, and I can tell that when I go too long without journaling, I get agitated. And when I do more of what I love, I can tell that I become a kinder and gentler person, a kinder and gentler parent to my kids, and so this is very, very necessary for me. This has been another episode of Journaling with me, and I talk about random things, and I have no idea where the conversation is gonna go. So yeah, I have tested out my new pen. It actually has darkened a little bit, has the patina now, and I hope you'll join me for my next video. Don't forget to check out my previous video where I made 12 different monthly layout ideas, and I also have a video on how I make photo stickers like the one you see in this video today. So definitely check those out if you want to learn more, and I will see you in the next video. As always, take care of yourselves and happy journaling. Bye.